There are moments in life when confusion surrounds you, when nothing seems to align with your prayers, when every door you knock on seems too close in your face. You begin to wonder, why is this happening? Why now? You may be tempted to believe that God has forgotten you, but I tell you today, He has not. The delay is not denial. The silence is not absence. God's timing is never late, never early, but always perfect. You may not understand it now, but everything will make sense soon. When life doesn't move at the pace we expect, frustration begins to grow. We live in a world that celebrates speed, but God operates by seasons, not seconds. His timing is never late, even when it feels delayed. Every moment of waiting carries divine purpose. There are things God is arranging hearts. He is preparing and paths. He is clearing that you cannot yet see. What feels like a delay is often divine preparation for what's ahead. God knows the right moment to release what belongs to you, because He sees the end from the beginning. Sometimes He withholds what you're praying for, not because you're unworthy, but because He's protecting you from receiving it prematurely. Blessings given too soon can become burdens that crush rather than elevate. God's timing ensures that when the door opens, you will be ready to walk through it with wisdom, humility, and strength. Every delay you encounter carries hidden lessons. Patience is not passive. It's an active trust in God's plan. During the waiting season, God refines your motives, strengthens your character, and aligns your desires with His will. You might think you're ready, but God sees areas in your heart that need to mature before you can handle greater responsibility. It's not just about waiting for the blessing. It's about becoming the person who can sustain it. The delay is often God's classroom, shaping you through tests, trials, and time so that your faith is deepened and your obedience strengthened. Many times, people rush ahead of God's timing and end up regretting decisions made in impatience. But when you learn to wait, to trust even when you don't understand, peace begins to replace anxiety. You realize that the same God who made the promise will also Determine the right moment to fulfill it. What seems late to you is right on schedule in heaven's calendar. Every closed door, every detour, every unanswered prayer is part of a divine timeline designed to reveal God's faithfulness. He is never in a hurry, yet he is never slow. His timing carries precision and purpose. The delays of God are not denials. They are the seasons when he strengthens your faith and prepares your future in ways that human eyes cannot perceive. When God is silent, it's easy to assume he has turned away or forgotten about your prayers. But silence never means absence. God often does his greatest work in the quiet seasons, when you feel nothing is happening. Just because you can't trace his hand doesn't mean he's not at work. Behind the scenes, God is moving pieces, influencing decisions, aligning people, and orchestrating events in ways that your natural eyes cannot perceive. Like a master weaver, he threads every detail of your life together into a pattern that will only make sense when the picture is complete. What appears to be stillness is often divine strategy, where God is preparing breakthroughs that will manifest at the perfect moment. The silence of God is not a sign of abandonment. It's a space where faith is tested and deepened, teaching you to trust his heart, even when his voice seems distant. During seasons of silence, God works on your behalf in ways that go beyond your understanding. He is protecting you from unseen harm, delaying situations that could destroy your peace, and positioning you for blessings that will last. Sometimes he allows silence so you can learn to depend not on signs or feelings, but on his promises. Faith that relies only on what it can see is fragile, but faith that believes in silence becomes unshakable. When God doesn't answer right away, he is inviting you to mature spiritually, to pray deeper, to listen more closely, and to believe more steadfastly. His quietness refines your spirit and separates genuine trust from emotional reaction. You begin to understand that silence is not punishment, it's preparation. In the stillness, God often does more in your life than you realize. He strengthens your patience, teaches you to wait with expectation, and develops spiritual sensitivity within you. Many times, the very silence that frustrates you is what prepares you to hear Him clearly when He finally speaks. He hides His activity so you will learn to recognize His presence even without visible proof. The unseen work of God is the foundation for visible miracles. When the time comes for Him to reveal what He's been doing behind the curtain, you will see that nothing was wasted. Not a single prayer, not a single tear, not a single moment of waiting. Waiting seasons are some of the most challenging times in a believer's life. Yet they are also some of the most transformative. When God places you in a season of waiting, He is not withholding something from you, but developing something within you. Waiting builds strength because it teaches you to depend fully on God rather than your own understanding. In the stillness of waiting, your faith is stretched, your patience is refined, and your endurance is tested. It's in these quiet and uncertain seasons that your spiritual muscles grow the most. You begin to learn that faith isn't proven in moments of blessing, but in moments of delay. When you choose to trust God, even when nothing seems to change, your roots go deeper, and your confidence in His faithfulness becomes unshakable. Character is forged in waiting. God uses time as His tool to shape your inner being, polishing away pride, doubt, and fear. You may think the waiting is wasted, but it's actually sacred preparation. God is developing humility where impatience once lived, courage where fear tried to settle, and discipline where inconsistency used to rule. When you learn to wait without complaining, you demonstrate maturity and surrender. Every season of waiting reveals what's really inside your heart. It exposes your motives, purifies your desires, and transforms your attitude from entitlement to gratitude. God cannot trust you with greater responsibility until you've learned how to stay faithful in hiddenness. The waiting season is not a pause. It's a process that refines who you are becoming. Faith is strengthened through time. Every unanswered prayer is an invitation to believe more deeply, that God's promises are true. The longer you wait, the more your trust grows, And the more your dependence shifts from what you can control to who God is, you start to realize that the waiting is not about delay, but development. The same way a seed takes time to break through the soil, your breakthrough takes time to manifest. Beneath the surface, roots are growing stronger, even when you see no visible signs of progress. When the right moment comes, what God has been cultivating in secret will blossom openly, and you will understand that the waiting was never wasted, because it made you ready for what is coming. When the time is right, everything will align perfectly according to God's plan. Life often feels scattered, unpredictable, and uncertain. But what looks like chaos to you is carefully ordered in the eyes of God. He is the master architect, and every detail of your journey is designed with intention. What doesn't make sense today will one day fit together like pieces of a divine puzzle. God is not bound by human calendars or deadlines. His timing operates on a higher dimension, one that considers not only your desires, but your destiny. Every delay, every disappointment, and every detour is serving a greater purpose. While you are waiting, God is weaving together the unseen threads that will connect your prayers to His promises. The relationships you form, the doors that close, the lessons you learn, all are aligning to create the perfect moment for His plan to unfold. And when God decides it's time, no one can stop what He has prepared for you. What once felt impossible will suddenly become effortless, because it was never about your strength, but about His timing. You won't have to force it, manipulate it, or chase it. It will flow naturally because heaven has ordained it. God's timing carries a divine ease. Things start to move, opportunities open, favor appears, and what was once delayed begins to accelerate. This is why it's so important not to lose faith in the waiting season. Just because you don't see immediate results doesn't mean God isn't working. He is aligning everything down to the smallest detail, so that when your blessing arrives, it will not bring confusion, but confirmation. The right time reveals why the waiting was necessary. You will look back and realize that God's was protection. His wait was preparation. And his yes came when your heart and circumstances were ready to receive it. Nothing God does is random. Every season leads to the next with perfect precision. When your life finally aligns with His divine timeline, you'll see how everything that seemed delayed was actually right on schedule. So remain steadfast, keep trusting, and keep walking in faith, because when God's time comes, nothing can stand against it. His plan will unfold beautifully, and you'll understand that it was all worth the wait.